Welcome everybody to the last round of YCF coverage for the Swiss round of day one. And then there's 3 more for day 2. But right now, for the last round, round 8 of today, I have all the way from Greece, Themis. No. Gzykis.
Hello.
Hey man, how you doing? Coming closer, coming closer. You're too far. Nobody can see you.
No one can see me. Sorry.
Yeah. So how has your event run been for you so far?
Oh, actually, I was kind of weird. I lost the second round, and I got kind of frustrated because going X2 is not guaranteed. But I was kind of very happy afterwards because I really liked my deck and how it has been performing so far. My friends are also doing very, very good so far.
Okay, I mean, you're no stranger to the pro scene. You've been, part of a lot of premier events, taking part in a few of the feature matches as well. With this YCS, how has this event been in terms of the matchups you've had, in terms of the format you've had so far? Do you think that the choice that you made for this event was probably the correct one, or do you think, well, maybe if I could go back to the drawing board for a little bit, I probably would have chosen a different one?
All right, that's so funny. I was playing this deck for a lot of time, and last week, or more than last week, I changed deck until yesterday.
So basically you went from deck A to deck B and you were like, no, then deck A again. Okay. So then how has that been like for you? Did you try to compare the matchups and stuff?
Yeah, it was really like the choice of how I expect the metagame to be right now. So I felt like that deck I'm playing right now is the best to deal with everything that they have right now, what people are playing right now, what I'm expecting.
Okay, Themis, that's very insightful. I hope that pans out for you. Take a seat. We'll be getting this round underway. And then we're having your opponent come all the way from Ireland as well. Vladis. No.
Howdy.
How you doing, man?
I'm very tired. Haven't slept yet much. Maybe an hour or two. I hope I just lose and I can just go back to bed. If I win, this is the worst case scenario.
No, but you're no stranger to events as well, playing a very unconventional event, playing a very unconventional deck in Gem Nights for about a season or two. Like, that time when you played that deck in comparison to now, because from what I understood, you're not really playing around that deck that much. How much do you think that format has changed since then?
Well, definitely, for sure. There's no more FDKs, which I'm kind of sad about. I just love not needing to worry about, oh, do I have enough time to go to the bathroom or to get food? It's like, oh, cool. I get 2-0'd really quickly, or just 2-0 my opponent really quickly. It's really nice.
Interactivity in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's sort of a niche thing. We want your opponent to play sometimes, but not all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. I got you. So then, how do you feel about the event so far? You're X1 currently. You're vying for, you're trying not to be on the bubble. You're trying to clinch out your win, of course. Do you think that the deck that you chose for this event was actually a good one?
Yeah, I think my deck was really good. I'm just really bad as usual. Like, two rounds ago, I just lost because I just didn't read my cards, and I just died because I'm not very smart. So, maybe I can wake up or fall asleep during this match. Who knows? I don't know. I want to go back to bed, please.
He's making it a lot worse than probably is. I think he's going to be fine. So, Vladis, take a seat. We'll be getting this match relatively on the way. So, the feature area is ready. The casters seem to be ready. We'll be heading off over to them for the last round of day 1. Leonard Kunig and Sebastian Lemke.
Here we are, guys. What a fun introduction that was for Vladis. He gave himself, indeed, basically. And I'm really, really sure that he's actually very, very aware how that deck is working and how he can play with his deck, because he
wouldn't be
always
X1
is playing,
otherwise.
He's always playing these roguish decks, and he's always doing so good with them. And I'm super, super confident that we're going to see a mega cool match.
I mean, Vlad is a top player. Like, he topped Euros with Infernoid. He was XO in Swiss at a YCS. I think it was Düsseldorf. I am not too sure, so I'm not going to.
He definitely also plays a Gem Knight deck before.
Yeah.
He's always on the niche decks, I think in Ghent his deck did not work out too well. He was playing Salomon Great Sky Striker. I saw a deck feature of that, and it did not work out too well. But it's always a creative idea, and also like.
Oh, you can recycle Kagari with the Sunlight Wolf. That's
exactly. I think that was the idea, but in the end it did not work out that good for him. But still, today he found a better deck to actually perform with, and I'm in love with his deck. You've been preaching this deck for quite a few weeks now as well. He's playing Pure Endymion.
Yes.
We actually had Marvin Schmidt playing Pure Endymion in Ghent.
Yeah, also another
going
XO,
undefeated, exactly. He was
in
first
Ghent,
place after Swiss, and he was playing the deck very well. We had him on stream too. And, oh, guys, they are actually starting already. So let's just go into the feature match before we miss any action right there. I think, oh yeah, there we are. A little bit of confusion, but as they already started, there's no time to do anything else. We shall just see what they're going for, and it looks like Themis already resolved double Allure right there.
And he's kicking things off with Gizmek Orochi.
That's really weird. I mean, it looks like he did not banish any real good cards with the Allure. Okay, I mean, he's playing Orcust, so...
Yeah, praying that he doesn't banish the skeleton. I mean, how many does he play?
That's a good question.
One only.
Oh, he's playing only one skeleton. Did he even check his banished cards yet?
There can be only one skeleton. Oh, he banished it with Allure.
Oh, okay.
And, okay,
so it's
that
still
makes
banished
sense,
right now.
Yeah, I mean, he shuffled it back with Galatea.
Already? Okay.
Search the return. So now he can use the return to discard the world one.
And again, Vladis in his opening hand has Into the Void. This card has been in our featured match area constantly today.
By the way, he picked up double Ash Blossom, which is not too good, but Ash Blossom versus Endymion, us both Endymion players know this card hits hard.
Yeah, if it is timed well. I actually watched an Endymion player play in the at the top tables, and his opponent actually used the Ash Blossom at something completely useless when there was a servant in scale with 3 counters. He was just ready to go off already, and his opponent decided to stop him somewhere where it didn't stop him at all. That was rather unconventional in this situation. But look at Vladis, he's just sitting there cool and calm. And you would expect Orcust to be like somewhat of a hard matchup for this Pendulum deck going second. But indeed, Marvin at Ghent played versus Orcust, and he just showed us that going second versus his deck, it's not really a factor. He just blew his opponent out, actually playing cards like Garuda to destroy the Babel and so on. So I think Vladis has kind of a good shot here too.
But I mean, there is Cosmic Cyclone and the Ash Blossom. Those are really problem cards from for the deck. He picks up a second Magister, which isn't too good either. But he has really 2 more draws, and he can set up a Magister already after using Terraforming, or before using Terraforming.
I guess the first thing you may want to do is activating the Terraforming on your Magical Citadel of Endymion, so you can already collect counters with it. That is an interesting choice, I have to say.
Does he play different
He surely plays...
field spells?
I don't think so. He's only playing the Magical Citadel of Endymion in the main deck.
I think I would have just shotgunned the Terraforming, to be honest.
I mean, you have no use out of that upstart right there. What did he draw with it? He drew into Reflection of Endymion. That's a card that can really help versus the Orcust deck, because you can just bounce the Jingirsu. That's a good start right there. And usually, when I'm explaining this card as Vladis is right now, you have to do a lot of explaining with this deck. This is
Kirin.
And it is also Servant just from the hand. Just special a monster from the hand and not from the deck, basically. So...
But he... he has Magisters. That works.
It should definitely work, yeah. Tem is now being on 9,000 life points. Now comes the Terraforming. Okay. So that will provide the Reflection of Endymion with a counter. Then he has Magister as well, as you said. And then he can still activate the Into the Void. So he will be able to get 3 counters on the Reflection.
And now we can see the difficult part of the deck, keeping track of all your spell counters with dice.
Yeah, you have to carry around so many dices. It can get annoying when you just... I mean, actually you feel good because you have a whole lot of spell counters on the board and your deck is supposed to have a whole lot of spell counters. But you feel bad of keeping track and just moving all these dices around, and it's like... It feels like you have to clean up your room in some way, and you're just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's not really the perfect situation. Okay, but that's the second spell counter.
is if you know that you're going to get rid of a card or you're going to summon your servant, but you still have to keep track of the counters. Why do I even do this? Or if you link it away. Okay, so Into the Void has been activated.
And that draw could be really, really important. You really want to pick
is
up
that
servant
Basilisk?
at some point.
Is that Basilisk?
I did not see it. He's playing Basilisk for sure.
Yeah,
and
that
it
is
is
that is a
Basilisk.
Basilisk. Yeah.
So that would be a normal summon he picked up there. I mean, he already had 2 Magisters, but they're not that good of a normal summon.
He
You
also
rather would summon the Basilisk.
Plays the Spice, Kaiden Kendo Spirit.
Oh, yeah. That's a 9 scale. I did not play that card so far, and I did not even consider it because I wasn't really aware of it at all.
Yeah.
But having a 9 scale in your deck can actually be quite cool.
I mean, yeah.
Because
Of
you
course.
would
Oh, yeah.
you would be able to special
Reflection.
summon out the...
This is getting banished.
Makes sense, because you have access to actually Pendulum summoning out the Master Cerberus,
Yeah.
which can be very, very good because you can banish your opponent's monsters. Back in the day, nobody was using the monster effect of Master Cerberus, but in the Pure Endymion deck, you actually have a lot of times it coming up
That's true.
that you have to banish monsters. For example, you banish Colossus with it, so going back and versus Thunder is pretty good. You banish Dingiuses with it. It's all very, very cool.
So, what do you think is going to happen now in this game? I mean, we have 3 cards in hand. He does not really have a way to go.
Look at how Vladis is explaining all these cards. He
Yeah.
had, I can assure you, he had to explain these cards so often
Yeah.
today. So I'm pretty sure he wasn't able to fall asleep because he just had to constantly talk about the cards he's playing.
He activates. He attacks with Magister and collects a counter, not letting it be destroyed by the Galatea.
Oh yeah.
And now it is destroyed by Galatea. So he has... Okay, so now he can activate the Basilisk.
Yes, the requirement for Basilisk effect, as for all the mythical beasts, is that he can not have another card in his Pendulum zone, so he can now rather use it to shuffle back the Magister.
Yeah.
But you're kind of like wondering at the moment, because we're not really sure where he's trying to go with here, right? What is his plan in the end?
I'm thinking of a Kaiden Kendo... Oh, I now see the brilliant point of Kaiden Kendo Spirit.
Tell me. I want to know.
After you Pendulum summoned, you get it back to your hand, so you can actually make plays with the mythical beasts after you Pendulum summoned. So you can use Electromite after the Pendulum summoned. Wow, Desires is a big pickup for him.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
If he top decks into a Servant or something like that, he can just abuse the Citadel. But it's going to be ashed, okay.
In question, do you ash here? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point you really do ash, otherwise the Servant would have been slammed to the table immediately. Okay, so he has the Kendo Spirit, and okay, so now he has nothing, right? Oh, no, he can use the Magister, right? So he has to draw something with Electromite.
Yeah, and then still it's not too good of a situation.
Yeah. But I mean, he also has the Basilisk, no, not really. Doesn't really have it.
Okay, so he Pendulum summons for 2. Oh no, he does not Pendulum summon yet. He just used the effect of Magister. That's why both of them get a counter. But he sadly cannot get any use out of the monster effect of Basilisk. Normally, when he's in the monster zone, you can also then take back a mythical beast from either your extra deck or your Pendulum zone. But right now, it's doing nothing but collecting counters at least.
I mean, at least there. Good thing for Themis is that there is no spellcaster monster on the extra deck of Vladis. They can kind of go into Electromite and send something like a Cerberus to pick it up to still go for some plays. Possibly top decking a fitting scale.
There's Phantasma as well now.
Completely forgot about Phantasma.
But what other cards Themis could draw into here?
Nibiru.
Oh, Nibiru would hurt. Because normally this Pure Endymion deck is so good at playing around Nibiru.
Yeah, with the Jackal King.
You would have Jackal King before your 5th summon. But as you can see, Vladis has kind of a sub-optimal starting hand, so he's not really able to do perfect plays. He's just trying to grab for servants somehow. He's really digging into his deck, and he made like weird plays to actually somehow get into his power plays.
The Phantasma really hurts him now, because now he can't even use Search for Cerberus, basically, to get him out.
That's true.
I mean, can he do something with the Master of Endymion? I mean, Endymion has a really strong scale effect, but Dingirsu is a problem card for that.
It definitely is. Normally you would try to actually get rid of that Dingirsu before, like when you actually activate the effect of Magister, then you special summon out the Master Cerberus, so you could get rid of the Dingisu before.
And he draws into Institution. And Institution is actually really strong because Institution is just going to search out a Pendulum scale that is fitting. He's just going to search out the Servant.
That is actually true. I mean, he will probably not be able to resolve the Servant this turn, but at least he can perform a Pendulum summon, which is pretty useful.
Already. He will only be able to summon 2 cards, and then he will get the Candle Spirit back to his hand. Are there any like big plays that he can go for with the Institution now?
Not really. I mean, he will be searching for level 3 most likely. Yeah, he removed 3 counters. Yeah. There's the Servant. We saw that coming. But from there on, he only has access to 2 Pendulum Scales now, and not a whole lot more, I would assume.
Yeah, so he removed 3 counters. He could have played out the Candle Spirit and removed 6 counters and then...
But he already activated the Candle Spirit to actually pop with the Electromite, didn't he?
So?
I was thinking so, yeah.
Yeah, but he can play it out again, right? As he can play out the Candle Spirit and then collect a 6th counter on the Citadel, then remove all of those for Jackal, and then Pendulum summon, and then get the Candle Spirit back, and then using the Jackal afterwards. But I think he has no target that he can summon, so that doesn't really make any sense.
So there he bounces the Candle Spirit, and he has one of his boss monsters out now. But Themis still really being in the grind, and you can see it in his face. He's not too uncomfortable.
Yeah, he also doesn't even have a battle phase, unfortunately.
Why doesn't he have a battle phase?
Because he crashed with Magister, so that he could get him onto the extra deck.
Oh, right.
To use Basilisk effect.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's really not too good of a situation. So Vladis can basically play this deck in sleep, as he told us, because he was nearly falling asleep for the whole day. Oh, and that just looked like a pass.
Yeah. So Basilisk basically can collect counters. But this one rather looks like Themis is... I mean, at this point, is the game state really that simple that he can just summon a Boral Sword out of all the monsters that he has on the field without even thinking and then attacking over the monsters? I think he has to summon like one more Dingirsu.
I would probably do that. And that Master of Endymion normally is like such a powerhouse because it cannot be targeted by card effects, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, but just if it has spell counters. So in the situation right now, sadly, it can be targeted and destroyed, so it's not that good. Also, it can only search for a random spell card out of your deck when it has spell counters. So really, you want to make sure that this card is summoned either by its own effect or by like Servant or Magister at some point.
So this one is not looking too good for Vladis. I mean, Themis with the Phantasme, the Cosmic Cycle.
So many big monsters already.
Yeah.
And there comes the Orchestrated Babel.
And I mean, at this point, you really just have to win this game in this turn. And you have to, I mean, you can.
I do think he can as well. The cool thing about spell counter mechanic is that also you get counters when your opponent uses spell cards. That's what Vladis just did. He also put counters on the Servant and the Citadel.
Yeah.
Tim is in his head just figuring out right now where to go here. But I would be shocked if I don't see a Boral Sword Dragons this game, and there it is already. Now you probably will go into Galatea Dingisu somehow. Or you can even use the Skeleton to summon out the Dingisu from the graveyard.
He uses Harp Horror to summon back the Skeleton from his deck. Oh, he can go for Nightmare. I thought he shuffled back Skeleton with Galatea this turn.
Did he already? Oh yeah, did he search for the Babel?
Yeah, he set the Babel with Galatea.
Ah, okay, cool.
I mean, he kind of directly activated it, which is not like the right way to do it. You have to set it first.
I think Vladis and Tim are agreeing that that's not too big of a deal at the moment.
Yeah, this is completely irrelevant for this situation. Okay,
I mean, in the end, he got his spell counters, so that's all Vladis wanted.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he also wanted a better starting hand.
Longirsu.
Yeah, so you can get rid of more monsters. So, yeah, of course, Longirsu now can send away one of the monsters.
Yeah.
And then Dingisu will send away the other monster, and then you just have the Boral Sword Dingisu OTK.
Yep.
That's what most likely is going to happen, and that's what Themis is thinking as well.
Now Vladis is packing up his cards. He says, I do not want to look at this anymore. This is over anyway. I'm just going to go for game 2. And that's the thing that I do not really necessarily like about Endymion, because the game 1 is your best game.
Yeah, actually, when you lose game 1, you already gave away that you're playing like a roguish deck, so your opponent is prepared for game 2.
They know
the surprise factor is gone. And also now he's able to board against it. And talking about boarding, let's see what Themis has prepared here for the Endymion matchup going second.
Mind control.
Mind control.
That's it.
I was looking through the rest, and you are right, that's it, because the rest is not useful at all going second versus this deck. And I mean, mind control takes out one of the negates, but it's not like overwhelmingly good versus pure Endymion.
Nope. Okay, so Vladis is playing so many more cards. He is playing triple super polymerization. Words. Triple super polymerization, which is not the best card to side in going first in Endymion, specifically because you kind of need all your cards to combo off. You have seen how hard it is to actually get up a big board.
Yeah.
With 6 cards. I mean, okay, there were so many interruptions, but...
It's true, it's true. It's also...
He plays Sloth.
When playing the Endymion deck myself, I realized that always when I'm boarding for going first, I tend to not board at all.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there putting my whole sideboard into my main deck, shuffling, pretending that I'm boarding.
Yeah.
But in the end, just the same 15 sideboard cards end up in my sideboard after this as well. So it's just rather a fake side than anything else. Because your going first deck is already so strong, and you don't really... You cannot really adjust because you also need all your cards basically when you want to go first.
But Vladis has decided that one card has to be in his side deck at least for going first, which would be Armor Page Sloth.
And is it a card you would board in right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's quickly remind the people of the effect of Armor Forge Sloth.
As long as this card is face up on the field as a monster, neither player can summon monsters from the extra deck except for Armor Phage monsters.
Okay.
Which aren't too popular in Orcust.
Yeah, let's just check the list of Themis.
Do you think there's
no Armor Phage monsters? He decided
can you
against
double
it.
check, please?
Not in the extra deck as well. No,
Okay,
no Armor Phage
so
monsters at all. And I mean, summoning them from the extra deck wouldn't really be good because you cannot even summon them. And yeah, so this card could really work out.
We're not seeing hand traps on this side of Themis, and we're seeing a Cerberus and a Jackal King.
Cerberus, Jackal King.
That's already good. Does he draw the Kendo Kai Spirit again? The
just
random one-off?
I kind of feel like that's just the meme card for Vladis.
Yeah.
He just plays it for the memes. And his hand is not too good. He's actually having double Jackal King, Citadel, Cerberus. I think he will have to search for Basilisk with the Cerberus to actually try to get off another draw, to then somehow pick up maybe the Servant or Magister or like Pot of Desires. Because right now he's not really able to,
you could
do
use
too much.
Basilisk or Jackal King and then try to Electromite combo off without using your... what's it called? Without having Jackal King on the field before.
Okay. It looks like he's going that way because he just searched out his one-off Jackal, and Jackal will be his normal summon.
I mean, if you're playing combo, you have to play to win, you know?
Yeah, but the way he's playing it right now, it just loses so hard to one hand trap on the side of Themis, to be honest.
I mean, not necessarily, right? He still has the option then to Pendulum summon.
Yeah, but like, do you have enough resources to actually Pendulum summon afterwards?
Yeah, sure. He has Kendo Kai Spirit and Jackal King. That's 4 and 9.
Oh yeah, you're right, okay. But then you Pendulum summoning out the Master Cerberus and the Jackal King. Okay, I mean, you're not too good, but you are all right.
So he uses Jackal effect to special summon out a Jackal King.
Oh yeah, right. So you actually have two.
Basilisk.
You actually have two Jackal Kings.
Oh,
then.
he could. Okay, he has another Jackal King. So
if there would be a hand trap, he could Pendulum summon out then two Jackal Kings, which wouldn't be too bad. But the thing is, he would not be able to actually get spell counters on them afterwards because
that's a good point.
He has no spell cards to be activated. I mean, you can bounce the Kendo Spirit and then get spell counters on it. So yeah, okay, there would be a way.
We don't need to worry about that because he can just search for the Sloth.
Oh yeah, and Sloth can be huge, but not if there is Mind Control.
But Mind Control doesn't really get rid of the problem of Armor Phage Sloth because it counts for both players. We were discussing about Vanity's Ruler before, that it is outed basically if you Mind Control it because only your opponent cannot special summon monsters. But Armor Phage Sloth restricts both players. Oh
That is
wow!
completely
And
true.
that's
And
a
you
good
cannot
combo with
even crash
Kaidoken
it.
because he can next turn remove it by tributing it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was the thing for Pendulum players, like you summoned out the Sloth, or also for Dragon Link players when they summoned out the Sloth with their seal.
Yeah.
Then next turn they weren't able to play anymore, and so they just had to play again, to pass again back over to their opponent. And he has a valid way. I mean, you can also tribute summon it for Jackal King, so Pendulum actually has some one tribute monsters available in their
into
arsenal.
the void every time.
Feels like it, right?
This is something that happens every time if you play Into the Void. As soon as you're down to 1 or 2 cards and you activate Electromite effect, rather 1 card, then you're drawing into the Void. It's going to happen.
Yeah. And Into the Void, as we talked about the downside already, you have to discard your whole hand in the end phase, but you also only can activate it when you have 3 cards in hand.
Yeah. And he's not really... Okay, well, next... Oh! No, doesn't help.
That's 2 cards now.
Yeah.
Quick maths by my side.
I mean, you could
Not
have
enough.
kept the Ken Spirit in hand, so that next turn he has 3 cards and he can use Into the Void.
But he can still bounce the Kendo Spirit next turn, can't he? So, I mean, he's
that's
in
true.
the risk of actually getting Twin Twisted now, and Themis indeed has Twin Twister in his hand.
Yeah.
But do you really want to just blindly pop these scales there?
Yes.
Yeah, because the board of Vlad is looking rather suboptimal.
Oh, another mind control.
It's so sad for Vladis because he was talking before the game that he's just playing a deck that is actually rather easy because you either build up a huge board and your opponent cannot break it, so that's the games you win, or you don't and you just lose rather quickly. But both of these games he now had like such suboptimal hands, so he had a way to actually get monsters on board in a very, very hard way, so he had to take his time for it. But the results just weren't overwhelming as we hoped they would be.
I mean, but he has
by the way.
Sloth and Jackal King and an Electromite, and he's going to get a draw from Electromite after this Twin
you're
Twister.
right. And then Into the Void is still alive.
Yeah.
Then it is alive,
He
actually.
knew it.
Yes. Okay, so don't forget about the spell counters. Exactly.
And don't forget about the draw, which is mandatory.
Yeah. Oh, and Themis nods with his head. Are there only spell cards left in the hand of Themis? There's only Allure, Mind Control, Orchestrated Return, and Instant Fusion.
So he passed the turn, so...
That's looking good for Themis, for Vladis actually, and he picked up Endymion now too, which can be summoned with its own effect. That's already game then.
Yep, he doesn't even have to summon it from the extra deck. He just goes into the Void first, so in case he gets ashed. I mean, he could Jackal King it, to be honest. But
yes, Vlad is just super safe here.
yeah.
I thought he would be losing this game pretty hard.
No way. How are you losing with Sloth and Jackal King?
Yeah, but
what
the
are the
combo
outs?
was just so small, to be honest. Like, just 2 monsters. Normally with Pure Endymion, you create a board of 5 or 6 monsters, all big beaters, and Vladis just went minimalistic right here and only summoned out 3, and one of them being the Electronite, which
but
is
that's
not
the power
negating
of
at all.
our Phage Sloth, right?
Yeah, looks like it is. You really have to say it is. Armorfetch Sloth really winning him the game right here.
The Pendulum summons out the Endymion and normal summons Magister,
Oh,
and that
and
is
Themis
game
picks
2.
up his cards.
Wow. We are really going into a game 3 in the last round of Swiss.
And there is applause coming up. Come on, guys. We want to have a nice last game of this day 1 of YCS London, and Vladis is giving it us by winning right here.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the going second side.
Now that becomes a little more interesting. The side deck
Indeed.
process of Vladis makes more sense now. So tell us, what is he putting in here?
He plays Pancratops. Not the best card versus Orcust because obviously eating Girsu.
Yeah.
He plays double Nibiru, the Primal Being, which is insane versus Orcust.
It is.
He plays Dark Ruler no more, which I would not recommend as well. He plays triple Super Polymerization, which is also a good choice.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, he's playing Red Reboot, and it looked like he's actually putting them in, but I think he just put his whole sideboard in, and he's now putting out the cards he don't want anymore. And yeah, he's not boarding in the Red Reboots, and it looks like he's not boarding in the Pancratopses as well.
Yeah, I agree to that.
Yeah,
I would not either, because it doesn't even bait out the spell trap cards.
I think Orcust basically being the reason that that the Pancratops wasn't really played at all lately in the sideboards.
Which is good for Endymion, because Pancratops is such a big problem for the deck. You can just attack over Jackal King and then just use the effect to bait out the next Jackal King, so you get 2 negates out with 1 Pancratops that isn't even your normal summon.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, let's think back for like 5 to 6 months, Pankratops was basically everywhere. Pankratops was the side deck card of the whole format, but at the moment nobody's playing Pankratops anymore, to be honest. Vladis is still playing it.
I mean, it's insane in Pendulum. You can Pendulum summon it out.
Yeah, in Pendulum it definitely makes some sense.
If your opponent lets you start, this is basically an extra interruption.
Yeah, it's true, it's true.
And if you set up a pop on your first turn, that is much better than having a pop in your going second, in your turn where you go second.
When there's
Because
already
there's
a
no
Dingisu on
setup.
board.
You can really hit the fragile points with the pop. You can hit the first Galatea summon or something like that, instead of just hoping to not get Dingisu. Oh, the quick reveal of
That
the
was
Master.
big. Look at Vladis' eyes. He realized it and he just quickly grabbed it back. We saw it, but I mean, we can see his cards in hand as well, so that's not really much of a giveaway. But it was a Master Cerberus, which is a good card he wants to draw,
Yeah,
going
and
second versus
his
his deck.
hand looks really good, to be honest. You know what card I'm missing?
Tell me. Oh yeah, I know which card you're missing.
It
the
is
best
the
sideboard card.
best card in the game, Performable Seal Eel.
That card is insane.
Yeah, it is a Pendulum monster, level 1, fish, scale 3,
Yes.
water
yes.
type.
Yeah.
It says on normal summon, you can basically spell speed 4, lock 1 back row.
There is no spell speed
Oh,
4
no.
in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I see what you mean because your opponent cannot respond to it, right? So you could not even use the crescendo on it. That's pretty good to actually
Yeah.
freeze crescendos.
Yeah.
That's a
And
very
it
good
also
going second card versus
as
the
a
Orcust
scale,
deck.
it can negate a monster on the field.
Yes.
So it's so versatile if you're blind going second after game 1 because you comboed and your opponent scooped.
Yeah. Oh, and Themis put in his Sanctums and Scythe
And he
as
drew
it
the
is appearing, and he just draws the Scythe, which you don't want to draw.
Yeah, that basically happens every time you play Sanctum and Scythe, right? I have never drawn Sanctum, I think, in my entire life. I have never drawn Sanctum. It's always Scythe.
Like, I did draw Sanctum, but then I also drew into Scythe, so I couldn't use the Sanctum anymore, which was really unfortunate too. Yeah,
that works. That works for me.
the starting hand of Themis is not too strong. He just sets up Galatea plus
But I mean, he has
Babel.
Babel plus Crescendo because he has Crescendo hard draw. So that is one more interruption.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point. But as he said, the hand of Vladis is really strong.
Yeah,
this
it
time
is.
he may be able
Yeah.
to actually get off Reflection of Endymion to bounce the Dingisu.
I mean, double Master Cerberus is rather unlucky.
Yeah, true. But you do have Institution, so that's really, really good that you can get full use out of this card. Because it always gets 2 counters when you're destroying a mythical beast on your side of the field.
I think Themis is going for a big bait. He sets Scythe probably into the zone of the Pendulum scale, which would kind of state that it would be an infinite permanence.
Definitely.
And now Vladis is trying to pop it maybe with a Phoenix, hoping to get rid of the infinite impermanence. Oh, but he has Mythical Institution and, of course, also the Master Cerberus. If that would go through, oh, he has double Institution. He drew it for turn. That is
And
really
also, he
unlucky
would
now.
probably not actually use the Phoenix on the back row. He would rather go for the Basilisk and well, that
Garuda.
does the same thing.
Yeah.
You would get out the Scythe then. So I would say it's kind of 50-50
hand
whether
is
Themis is
horrible.
actually resolving it here. The hand of Vladis, you mean?
Yeah, because he has double Institution, which doesn't really do too much as he doesn't have spell counters. If he had a Citadel, it would be great.
But he gets spell counters with activating the effect of Master Cerberus really quickly. So
Yeah,
he will
but
have a lot of
there,
spell
There
counters.
is a crescendo. Oh wait, it went through, so he can actually not crescendo it anymore. Okay, so he can activate 2. Oh yeah, okay, now it's really good.
Yeah,
also, there's
definitely.
Ash
He's in a
Blossom
good
for the Pot
position.
of Desires, which would be rather sad. But with the Cerberus going, okay, he does not play out the second Institution.
Yeah, because when doing that, he's hardly committing into this play, and then Themis probably realizes that, and then can just use the
negate
effect
it.
of
Yeah.
Crescendo, and then that's really bad of a situation. So I like the play of Vladis to not activate the second Institution there.
Yeah.
So he plays around that, and he will be fine with just the 2 counters on the 1 Institution. He gets 2 more now. When Themis now actually negates that, it would be really, really weird.
I mean, he
say.
still has... Oh no, he does not have setup for... Oh wait, he has setup. Oh my god, he has so much setup. I didn't even realize that there was a Masquerena that he can just use. He can just summon Longirsu now. and then he can summon the Dingirsu back with Skeleton to get rid of the institution.
Yeah, the hand of Vladis is pretty good, but
Yeah, that was really insane.
Themis is really, really starting off strong here too.
Masquerena actually bumped up the deck quite a lot.
It did.
You can play around so much more.
But there is Master Cerberus. So Master Cerberus will then bait out the Masquerena, I would say. Or the Galatea Crescendo, I don't know.
No shouting "oh." I just thought I saw something, but there was nothing.
What was it though?
I thought he could go into Phoenix, but he can't anymore because there's Harp Horror effect used. But
Yeah,
I mean, you
right.
can even go into Unicorn or Longisu,
And it
doesn't
does the
matter.
same thing, yeah. There's not really much of a difference. It looks like Vladis actually removed the counters of
For
Institution,
Cerberus.
right? For the effect of Cerberus.
Yeah, that is interesting.
So he really wanted to bait out there. And sadly, the Cerberus does target on effect activation, so there's no monster being banished in resolution
But
anymore.
I mean, Longisu gives you so many zones.
Yeah, exactly. You can pendulum summon quite a bit with it. There is the reflection, so that's another way he can actually out a monster on board.
And get spell counters for Institution.
Not yet, no. Institution only gets it when mythical beasts are destroyed.
But Institution can remove from anywhere on the field, and Reflection collects spell counters.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Collectors.
And there is the second Institution now. And Themis is like, okay.
Oh yeah, and they can also remove from the Cerberus, so that's actually huge.
Yeah.
So Cerberus being on
Cerberus
the
is so
field
cool
is-
because it always gets 2 counters. That's so important in this situation. You cannot use the effect of him anymore, but it does provide so many spell counters.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think Vlad is really getting headaches from his deck right now because there's so many routes he can go there, so many options available to himself, and he just has to figure out the one he wants to go with here.
I mean, he probably goes down to 1 counter, or he just uses it to search out a Jackal, a baby Jackal.
He did not normal summon yet, right?
No.
So he just wants to have his normal summon.
And there we go. There is the baby Jackal.
The baby Jackal.
The one-off baby Jackal that he plays to just search it with the Institution. Okay. Also, baby Jackal collects counters, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of spell counters shall be collected here. And it's kind of interesting that he's just playing 1 Jackal, right?
Yeah.
I always liked Jackal, and I've played it at least twice.
Oh, and now there goes the
There's the
Ash, so he can
Ash.
actually get the Desires through.
Well, that is true, and that Desires can provide him with a Servant. I'm looking forward to a Servant by Desires. But I mean, oh no, he can then just use the Crescendo on Desires. At that point, you probably
that's
use Crescendo on Desires.
Yeah.
And Vladis will see it coming. Themis is like, is that still the big bait? No, it cannot be, so I have to actually activate the Crescendo.
Doesn't even get counters because it got Crescendoed. Much worse than with an Ash Blossom.
That's true. But still,
now
Master Cerberus has 2,800 attack points, so there's a way he can actually run over a Galatea at least.
Great.
Let's see the positive side of it. And yeah, we have still 7 minutes left on the round, so I'm not too worried this game is going into timeout because the game state is pretty simplified at the moment, and Themis just has OTK available next turn again if Vladis does not produce a whole lot more now, and his hand does not look like he could produce too much more.
I mean, he still has 1 Institution alive, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does for the moment have that, but he only has 1 counter to search with so far.
Yeah, I also realized that it does not really help him to play out the Master Cerberus because then he cannot Pendulum summon anymore.
Yep. That is indeed true. Looks like he just ran over the Longisu with the Master Cerberus. Oh, and he activates the Master Cerberus in scale.
Yeah.
So he cannot use this effect again, but he does get spell counters.
Now he can use the Institution to search.
Probably just search for the Servant so you have your setup for next turn if you actually get another turn. You just have to hope at this point, basically.
You can also pick up cards from your extra deck so you can play around Colossus.
Yeah, yes, that's actually true. But I don't think there's a way he can actually resolve the reflections this turn anymore.
No.
He has no way to get additional spell counters because both of his scales basically do nothing at the moment.
So he uses 4 spell counters to search for a Basilisk? Does he even play Garuda?
Should be, I think he was playing Garuda, right? Yeah, I see it, Garuda.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He is playing it, and what is that? It was like at the bottom of a screen, you couldn't really tell, but it can only be Garuda or Basilisk. And I think in this situation,
boy.
you probably rather go for Basilisk, because Garuda really does not help you too much. I mean, neither does Basilisk, to be honest.
I mean, this game is pretty far from won by Vladis. Longirsu being used after being summoned by Skeleton in the end phase.
And Vladis quickly shuffles the deck. He does not want to go into timeout here. He realizes that Themis is in a pretty good situation here. And that is the thing with Pendulums. You aren't playing any hand traps, so Themis really has to feel nothing here at the moment. And there's no interruption on the side of Vladis, so it is just free for Themis to play out whatever he wants. And Orcust is a deck that can OTK fairly easily, as we saw in game 1 already.
Boral Sword is your best friend with the deck.
Yeah, Boral Sword being your best buddy.
I'm not sure if he can make it, to be honest.
Make Boral Sword, you mean?
With this, he can make Boral Sword easy.
I was about to say that there's already a Boral Sword being on the field, basically.
Good point, but still he can't OTK then, because he can only summon out one extra monster with half power up. So he goes to Dingirsu, and now he goes to... Oh, he has another card in the grave. Oh, he has Nightmare. Okay, I didn't see the Nightmare.
So yeah, this is... it is happening,
This is
guys.
Boral Sword OTK by Themis versus Vladis.
Classic Boral Sword OTK. And there's the
there's the
handshake.
handshake.
We have a winner of our last feature match for the day, and it is Themis Gzykis. And congratulations to him right here. He's in a pretty good spot for
he's been so successful lately, right?
Truly, truly, he is. I mean, he topped Ghent, if I'm not mistaken. He also topped Euros.
He is the reigning Greek national champion, am I right?
He is. He absolutely is, definitely.
So he's so...
He's putting a lot of time and effort into the game, and he's crushing right now.
And he's rewarded.
Definitely have to say. He's absolutely rewarded. As he told before, he was switching around with the deck, not really being too sure about it, and then I heard that story so often by friends of mine. Friday night, I decided, let's go back to my favorite deck, and it probably works out again.
You
and
always get rewarded by your baby.
Normally, it does not work out, to be honest, when you change a deck Friday. Not for me, at least. Did it ever work out for you?
Did anything ever work out for you?
You're so nice to me today. I thought we're having a nice day, but then that came.
No, but honestly, changing your deck shortly before an event, that can really hurt the best players. I mean, we have seen this in Ghent, where players who even won YCSs made mistakes during their combo, not ending up on the optimal board and then losing games with it.
Lunalight Orcust is a crazy hard deck to play.
Just because they switched last minute. And if you stick to your deck that you play the best, that you're so familiar with, then you're less likely to make mistakes that can cost you games.
Do we actually want to take a quick look onto the stats tool? Let's see what kind of decks we're still in the tournament in round number 8. There we have our metagame breakdown, and we see Orcust still being in the top spot.
135 Orcust, 102 Thunder Dragons, 82 Salomon Grades, still very popular, even though Gazelle and Circle have been put to 1, so they are limited. 50 True Dracos, that's a nice number. 49. We have more True Dracos than Sky Striker after day 1.
That is a sad thing to hear for a Sky Striker player myself.
It's a great thing for a True Draco player, even though True Draco has recently also picked up the Sky Striker engine.
True. Maybe a lot of them are actually combinations of both, because there's no real category for them. And we saw this deck being really, really popular. And the rest, still a lot of other decks. So you can look out for more hero decks or pure Endymion decks, as we saw a lot of rogue decks today. So I would say we saw enough of that metagame breakdown, and we only have to hear from one more man today, and that is the winner of our last round featured match. Let's hear from Themis and how he won this match.
Well, we are here again with the last round for the day 1 of the feature match. 8 rounds have been played for day 1, and now 3 to be played tomorrow. And I'm here joined with the last player, the last duelist. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling happy. Again, finishing X1, day 1. The thing is that because of the high number of players that we have for this event, as in Ghent as well, multiple X2 one top, which is really unfortunate. I mean, Vlad now just said that he wants to drop because he has second loss now. And this is really bad. Like it kills the mood. But now I'm happy that I can be more relaxed and I can go back and sleep.
I think Vlad was saying the same thing as well. He actually just wanted a whole lot of sleep at the moment. It was a tense situation. It was a very interesting match. You know, it was a very tense game. It was a bit back and forth. It was down to the wire. It was 1-1 apiece. What did you think of the matchup actually? Because you don't really see a lot of pure Endymion. We saw, of course, a lot of pure Orcust. What did you think of the matchup actually?
All right, so it's one of the decks that I wanted to test, but I didn't because I didn't have enough time. And one of my friends that I really trust, Santoni, told me not to try it. And I really hoped not to face any Pendulum decks for this event because literally my deck cannot handle that if I don't win the dice roll. Fortunately for me, I won the dice roll. I think it's like Vlad is a great deck builder, like an amazing deck builder. And it would make sense that he would choose this deck. I was lucky to win the dice roll, and really that's it. If I lost the dice roll, I don't think I could have won because game one, my starting hand was very mediocre to go second, and game two, I breaked all spells. I had Greffer, I could out his Sloth if I drew 2 Darks of Allure, but yeah.
Okay, it was not really written in the stars in game 2 and game 3. He was actually able to pull it out. So, I mean, no, I mean, you can't chalk it all to luck. It really depends on how you play hands that you get. You know, he tried to do it the most optimal way, and you got to capitalize on, you know, a few stumbles here and there. And, you know, probably could have been a bit more patient, but I don't think in this kind of matchup where it snowballs really hard out of control between both of you, both exceptional players, that it could have gone either way, actually. Could have gone either way. But I'd like to thank each and every last one of you guys for tuning on in, stopping on by for day number 1 of YCS London. We're going to be back, actually, in about 11 hours from now, you know, changing of hours, make it 12. I hope you guys tuning. I hope you guys stop by. And this has been JJ signing out.